All right, people, the unit circle. I think you probably did this a little bit in Algebra 2. We're going to hop in and do it again. Okay. So we start with some special triangles, and we're going to do these separately. And for these special triangles, what I want to do is I want to end up with the hypotenuse being 1. And the idea being, if this is the 45-degree angle, which it is, right? Oops, here we go. If this is the 45-degree angle, right? We know that's the 45-degree angle there, right? If this is a unit circle, that means the radius, the distance from the center to any point on the circle, right, is going to be equal to 1 unit, 1, right? So this has to be 1, so I'm going to make it 1 here. Same thing for the 30, 60, 90 special triangle. I want to eventually have this being 1. So let's go to a 30-degree angle here, which would be this one, right? If we made a triangle from this, right, and came down this way, this would be 1, and this would be something less than 1, and this would be something less than 1. Okay, so we want to convert our special triangles so that they have 1. Now, usually when we do the special triangles, I'll do the usual one for 45, 45, 90 here. We usually start with a 1 here and a 1 here, and we use Pythagorean theorem, right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 1 squared is 1 plus 1 squared is 1. That's 2 equals B squared. So that means this one, when I square root both sides, has to be the square root of 2. Okay. How do I go from square root of 2? How can I make that a 1? I have to either multiply or divide to get there. That's the only way we can scale things. We can't add, right? So we could double every side. We can make this 2 and 2 and 2 times root 2. We can make this 3 and 3 and 3 times root 2. How would I make this 1 with multiplication and division? I'm going to divide by the square root of 2. Okay. If I divide everything here, this whole thing, by the square root of 2, I'm going to get this. So let's do it. Root 2 over root 2 is going to give me 1. This is 1 over square root of 2. This would be also 1 over square root of 2. But if you remember, we can't leave this like this, right? We can't have a radical in the bottom of a fraction. So we have to rationalize it. And we do that by multiplying top and bottom by the square root of 2. So when I do that, I'm going to get square root of 2 on the top. And I'm going to get square root of 2 times square root of 2, which would be square root of 4, which is 2 on the bottom. So that's root 2 over 2. And this is root 2 over 2. Okay, so this is a new special triangle that has been scaled down, I guess. Yeah, divided by root 2, scaled down so that its hypotenuse would be 1. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here. This one's going to be a little easier. Usually when we do this one, right? If this is 30 and this is 60, which it kind of looks like it, we know that if this side is 1, this side is 2, and then we use Pythagorean again, right? So this would be 4 is equal to 1 plus what? It has to be 3, right? And then we square root both sides. So this has to be the square root of 3. So how would I go from this to this? How do I go from 2 to 1 with scaling? I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, so I'm going to scale it down by a factor of 1/2. I'm going to multiply by 1/2. That's another way to do it, right? So 2 divided by 2 is 2 divided by 2 is 1. We got that. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. And then root 3 divided by 2 is root 3 over 2. So these are our 30, 60, 90 special triangles and our 45, 45, 90 special triangle converted so that their hypotenuse was equal to 1 so they could fit our unit circle down here. Cool. All right, let's jump to the unit circle real fast. We're going to come back to that in a second. Let's get our degrees and radians. Okay, so this is 0 degrees. This is 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, 180. Okay, so I got our degrees for the first part. Let's just keep going. This is 210, 225, 240, 270, 300, 315, 330. This is also 360 degrees. Okay, back to where we started. Cool? Cool. All right, easy. Let's get the radians now. So this is either 0 radians or 2 pi radians. Okay, so if this is 0, here's how I do it. I'm going to get the easy ones first, right? So I'm going to go 0. I'm going to go pi halves, pi, and then down here, I'm going to do 3 pi halves. I'm going to zoom out a little just so it's, well, that's not out, that's out. Cool. Okay. So I do 0 pi halves, pi half, 2 pi halves, 3 pi halves, 4 pi halves. Now I'm going to do quarters. This is pi fourths. This would be 2 pi fourths. This is 3 pi fourths, 4 pi fourths, 5 pi fourths, 6 pi fourths, 7 pi fourths. Cool. All right. This is pi thirds. My pi thirds go here, 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 here. It cuts it into 6 pieces. Like, what is that game with the little pies? I used to play it. Anyways, this is pi thirds. This is 2 pi thirds, 3 pi thirds, 4 pi thirds, 5 pi thirds, 6 pi thirds. All right, let's do pi 6. Pi 6, 2 pi 6, 3 pi 6, 4 pi 6, 5 pi 6, 6 pi 6, 7 pi 6, 8 pi 6, 9 pi 6, 10 pi 6, 11 pi 6. There we go. We got them all. All right. We're getting there. We got the angles in radian and degree measure. Let's start doing the points. So if this was on a grid and we had this at the origin, I start with the 4 endpoints, right? It's a unit circle. So this x value is 1, y value is 0. Up here would be 0, 1, right? 0, 1. This would be negative 1, 0. And this is 0, negative 1. Cool? Cool. So we got the north, south, east, west points done, right? Those are the most important ones. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick here for finding the other ones. Okay, are we ready? Well, I guess we have to do this first. We have to use the unit circle. So pi 6, let's use this one, 30, 60, 90, right? So the y value is 1 half. The x value is 3, root 3 over 2. So that's root 3 over 2 and 1 half. Okie dokies. How about this one? If we flipped it around, the x value would be root 2 over 2. Oops, sorry. The y value would be root 2 over 2, and the x value would be root 2 over 2 if I flipped it. I wish it was flipped. I don't know why it's this way. It's kind of a pain, right? So if we flipped it, we'd have 1 root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. This is the origin. We're going up root 2. I don't even know if that's any better. Yeah, that's better, right? X value, root 2 over 2, y value, root 2 over 2. So if I look at this triangle right here, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. So what's this point? Root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. This one, pi thirds, is just your 30, 60 flip-flopped, right? So this is root 3 over 2 in the y direction, and the x direction is 1 half. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick here. Are you ready? We're going from, let's start with the y. We're going from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. You could think of this having a square root, but the square root of 1 is just 1, right? So 0, root 1, root 2, root 3. You could think of this as root 4 over 2, right? Everything's over 2 in these anyways, right? So that's kind of nice, right? How about this one? We go from 0, root 1, which is just 1, root 2, root 3, up to 1. And we're getting bigger, right? 1 half root 2 over 2 is bigger than that. Root 3 over 2 is bigger than that. It goes in order. Kind of nice, right? All right. So my little secret is this. Everything for all of these other measures here is going to have a 2 on the bottom. So just do it. So easy, right? called batch processing. Makes it way faster. We know everything is going to be over half, right? Here's the next thing that's kind of easy. Think about if this was your XY coordinate, what is happening here in terms of X and Y? What are my X values when I go this way? They're negative. My X is going to be negative here. What's my Y value going to be? It's above that. It's going to be positive. Okay. So I could come in here and kind of cheat and just do negative signs for the X values. How about in this quadrant here? My X values are negative still. What about my Y values? Yeah, it's negative, negative, right? So here, let's cheat. It's not really cheating. It's like being smart, right? Batch processing. I know my X and Y value here are all negative. How about here? X values are positive. Y values in this region would be negative, right? So positive, negative. So we'll come through and we'll do a little negative for all of them. Easy, right? Easy. And let's do the same thing we did before. Start here, 0. What's next? 1. What's next? Root 2. What's next? Root 3. Here's a 0. What's next? 1. Root 2. Root 3. Nice, right? 0. 1. Root 2. Root 3. 0. 1. Root 2. Root 3. How about up here? 0. 1. Root 2. Root 3. 0. 1. Root 2. Root 3. Unit circle complete, y'all. Look at that thing. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful, right? And it's once you kind of get a flow and get a feel and get a couple little secrets in, it's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to practice this in class. The main thing to get down is this first quadrant. Super, super, super helpful, even into calculus and beyond, to have these down. Okay, really, really important. To get the rest is kind of gravy. It's just it's the cherry on the ice cream sundae. It's nice to have, but you don't need it, right? I mean, you kind of need it, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I'm done. Peace out. Bye.